Behind every policy debate is a person barely holding on. Here's the true story of a North Carolina educator. I've taught in North Carolina for 24 years. 21 of those have been in public schools. I've worked from the mountains to the coast and currently teach in Wake County. Since 2008, I have seen mostly a decline in support of our public schools. Starting with program cuts during the 2009 recession, I lost longevity pay the year I would have received at year 10. I've seen some pretty good funding within our district for technology, especially around the time of the CARES Act funding during the pandemic. I've also had to write grants and find my own sources of funding my whole career. I became very used to advocating for arts curriculum and funding from the beginning. However, now that I and my husband, also a public school educator, and I are raising our elementary age children, my concern has turned to behaviors and special needs students being placed sometimes inappropriately in regular education classes. Not only students with severe autism, and there is, of course, a broad spectrum, but emotionally and behaviorally challenged students who can be unpredictable, highly disruptive, and unsafe. I don't know if it's the Inclusion Act that our district adopted, but appropriate placement for these extreme cases seems to take too long. Too many hoops to jump through that don't always provide an accurate picture. All the while, many young regular education students suffer, and their parents have no idea. Anyone outside of school wouldn't know the principals are discouraged to suspend. We have no ISS, and students know that there is very little accountability K through 12. The push to graduate any student to the point of having to drag them across the finish line creates so much more work for teachers. In a time when demands on teachers and our workload is exponentially increasing and respect for our profession, especially those veteran teachers, is decreasing, what is left for the next generation of students? A disservice is being done to us all, and because of the licentious nature of our society, school districts are scared to do anything. We're urged just to maintain status quo. What are we leaving society if our leaders and decision makers are not using common sense? It's the kids who pay the price. When experienced and dedicated teachers leave because it's too much, when the learning environment is not conducive to learning, and the teacher's hands are tied, all the while getting paid less and less and paying more and more. We have to demand better. This is not the North Carolina I was born and raised in. We can do better for the sake of our children. These aren't headlines, they're lives, and they deserve better.